Jax's revenge domain.
He told the board I was just a floor supervisor. I'd been buying shares for 25 years and owned more of the company than his entire family combined. He had no idea. The conference room smelled like fresh paint and desperation. Apex Steel Dynamics had blown 60 grand on renovations 6 months back. New carpet, leather chairs that squeaked when you moved, and those frosted glass panels that made everything look like a fancy doctor's office. The mahogany table stayed, though. You don't mess with good mahogany. Preston Caldwell III stood at the head of that table, with his laptop open, clicking through slides like he was launching rockets instead of firing people. His tie cost more than most guys make in a week. His watch cost more than most make in a month. And his attitude? Well, that was priceless. 8 people sat around watching him perform. A couple shifted in their seats. One kept clicking his pen. The whole room felt like a dental appointment nobody wanted. I sat at the far end, hands folded, watching Preston practice his authority on a PowerPoint deck. Behind him, his assistant held a tablet like it might protect her from what was coming. Andrew, Preston said, not bothering to look up from his screen. Effective immediately. We're restructuring your position. You'll transition from VP of Operations to floor supervisor, compensation adjusted accordingly. From $340,000 a year to $186,000, a $154,000 cut. Just like that, read off a screen like he was ordering lunch. I understood 2 things in that moment. First, this kid had 0 clue who he was talking to. Second, I'd been preparing for this conversation for about 7 years without knowing it. My name is Andrew Hayes. I'm 55 years old. I spent 12 years in the Navy Seabees as a construction engineer, made it to senior chief before I got out. 2 deployments, specialty in structural analysis and heavy construction. The Seabees taught me 2 things that stuck. First, you build a foundation strong enough to handle whatever comes next. Second, when something's about to collapse, you don't panic. You measure twice, cut once, and you document everything. I've been at Apex Steel for 25 years. Walked in at 30, straight off active duty, because a buddy told me they needed someone who understood how things go together and come apart. Started on the floor, running structural steel, learning every rivet and weld by feel, worked my way up the old-fashioned way, floor to supervisor in 3 years, supervisor to plant manager in 5, plant manager to VP of operations 12 years ago. Every year, same routine, do the work, skip the politics, take the bonus. Buy the stock, that last part mattered more than anyone knew. My wife Diana has early onset Alzheimer's, she's 47. Was diagnosed 3 years ago, but the signs started earlier. Memory care facility runs us $9,200 a month. She was a math teacher, could solve equations in her head that would stump most engineers. Now she forgets my name some days. The good news is, she still remembers how to smile when I visit. The bad news is everything else. When Diana got diagnosed, I made a decision. I was going to own enough of this company to make sure nobody could ever threaten my ability to take care of her. Simple as that. If you've ever had a boss who looked at your 25-year career like a line item to delete, you'll understand what happened next. The founder of Apex Steel, Dutch Vandermark, used to walk the floor every Friday. This was back when I started, before he passed 8 years ago. Dutch was old school Navy too, served in Vietnam. He'd stop at every station, ask real questions, listen to real answers. Not the fake listening you get from management consultants, the real thing. My first Christmas at Apex, Dutch handed me an envelope. Inside was a single share certificate and a note that said, "Own what you build, sailor. Paper without equity is just paper." I kept that note, and I did exactly what it said. Started with the employee stock purchase plan. Apex offered shares at 20% discount if you reinvested your performance bonuses. Most guys took the cash, bought trucks, paid off credit cards. I took the stock, every quarter, every year, for 25 years. Half a point here, full point there. It adds up when you're patient and nobody's watching. Then came the private purchases. 4 retiring executives over 18 years, each holding modest blocks of Apex shares. They wanted liquidity for retirement. I gave them market price, clean transfers, properly documented. Every transaction filed with the SEC under Hayes Holdings Trust. The trust was my buddy Hal's idea. Harold Brennan and I served together in the Seabees, both senior chiefs, both got out the same year. He went to law school on the GI Bill, ended up specializing in corporate securities. Smart guy, still lives in Columbus, still handles my paperwork. Hal set up Hayes Holdings Trust 24 years ago, my second year at Apex. Filed the structure, tracked every acquisition, submitted every SEC form on schedule. When my ownership crossed 5%, then 10%, then 20%, then 30%, All documented, all legal, all invisible to anyone who didn't bother checking public records. Last time anyone on the Apex board reviewed SEC filings was 2016. By then, I was already past 50%. Now I'm sitting at 59% of Apex Steel Dynamics. Market value $2.2 billion. My stake is worth about $1.3 billion. And a 30-year-old MBA with 4 years of consulting experience just cut my salary because he figured I was too old to matter. Preston finished his presentation and closed his laptop with the kind of dramatic flair you see in movies. Questions? He asked, looking around the room like he'd just solved world hunger. Nobody had questions. They all looked like they'd rather be getting root canals. I didn't say anything, didn't argue, didn't make a scene. I just nodded once and walked out. Same way I'd walked out of that room for 25 years. Except this time I had a phone call to make. Hal picked up on the second ring. I've been waiting for this call, he said. No hello, no small talk, just facts. Kid just demoted me, I said. Cut my pay 45% effective immediately. His title ratified by the board, Chief Innovation Officer, self-appointed 8 months ago. His mother approved it, but there's no board resolution, and he took unilateral action affecting your compensation without shareholder consent. He did. Article 7 is live then. I'll have the filing ready in an hour. Emergency shareholder action. Board has to convene within 48 hours. Do it. Click. Here's what I didn't do in the next 36 hours. I didn't call Preston. I didn't call his mother Eleanor. I didn't call anybody at Apex. I didn't post on social media. I didn't update LinkedIn. I didn't walk back into that building and warn anyone what was coming. I went home, fed our dog Ranger, a German Shepherd who's been with us 9 years. Ranger knew something was different the minute I walked through the door. Dogs know. He didn't bring me his ball, just sat by my chair and kept watch. I drove to see Diana. The memory care place is nice enough. Clean, safe, smells like vanilla instead of disinfectant. She was in the common room working on a puzzle, something simple with big pieces. When she saw me, she smiled. I know you, she said. You're important to someone. I'm important to you, I told her. I'm your husband. She nodded like she was filing that information somewhere safe. What do you do for work? She asked. I build things, I said. Strong things that last. She looked at me for a long moment and something flickered behind her eyes. For just a second, I saw my Diana, the woman who could calculate structural loads while cooking dinner and helping our son Jordan with his math homework. The woman who married a Navy engineer because she said she liked men who understood how to build foundations. Andrew, she said clearly, you're Andrew and you're worried about something. My chest tightened. I reached across the small table and took her hand. Yeah, I'm worried, but I'm handling it. You always do, she said. Then the moment passed and she went back to her puzzle like we were strangers again. That night, I sat on the back deck with a glass of bourbon. Good stuff. From a bottle Diana gave me before everything changed. I could see the Apex smokestacks from my house. Same view I'd had for 20 years. The lights were on in the executive suite, 3rd floor corner office. Preston's new kingdom. Let him enjoy it while he could. At 7:30 the next morning, Hal's filing hit the corporate secretary's inbox. Patricia Walsh had held that job for 15 years. She was thorough, careful, and probably the only person in the building who still read SEC documents. Patricia opened the filing at 8:15 while drinking her first cup of coffee. Read it twice. Then she picked up her phone and called Howard Campbell, Apex's general counsel. Howard didn't answer. He was in court. Patricia left a voicemail that said, Howard, we've received an Article 7 emergency shareholder filing. Hayes Holdings Trust claims 59% beneficial ownership. You need to call me today. Howard listened to that message at lunch. Then he drove straight back to the office, logged into the SEC database, and spent 3 hours printing documents. 52 pages of Hayes Holdings Trust filings going back 25 years, every acquisition, every Form 4, every Schedule 13D amendment. All of it public record, all of it properly filed, all of it sitting there like a loaded gun nobody had bothered to notice. Howard Campbell was 61 years old, had been general counsel for 11 years, and considered himself pretty sharp. But staring at those 52 pages, he felt like he'd been walking around with his shoes untied for a decade. At 4:30 that afternoon, he called Eleanor Caldwell. We have a problem, he said. Your son just demoted the majority shareholder of this company. Eleanor Caldwell had built her life around 2 things, control and appearances. She'd inherited Apex from her late husband Dutch, had run it with an iron fist for 8 years, and had spent the last 2 years grooming Preston to take over. Smart woman, tough as nails, zero tolerance for surprises. This was a big surprise, that's impossible, she said. Andrew Hayes is a floor supervisor. Andrew Hayes owns 59% of Apex Steel Dynamics. It's all documented. SEC filings going back 25 years. Ma'am, he owns more of this company than your entire family combined. Silence. 10 full seconds. Emergency board session, she finally said. Tomorrow morning, 9. Every director. Full documentation. Eleanor, there's one more thing. Preston's title was never ratified by board resolution. Legally, his authority to restructure anyone's compensation is questionable. More silence. Get those documents to every board member tonight, and Howard, don't tell Preston until tomorrow. Let him walk into that room thinking he's still in charge. While Eleanor sat in her bedroom that night processing the fact that she'd helped her son kick a hornet's nest worth $1.3 billion, Preston was on Instagram. His story showed a glass of champagne on his desk. The desk that used to be mine. Caption read, "Restructuring complete. New era begins." He had no idea the board had already been called to order. Wednesday morning, 8:45 a.m., I put on my good suit, the charcoal one Diana picked out 10 years ago. Navy blue tie, simple knot. Slipped Dutch's original note into my jacket pocket, the one that said, "Own what you build, sailor." The boardroom looked different than it had 2 days earlier. Same mahogany table, same squeaky chairs, but there were name placards at every seat now. 9 directors total, all present. Howard Campbell had a stack of documents thick enough to stop a bullet, and at the head of the table, opposite Eleanor's chair, there was a nameplate that read Hayes Holdings Trust, majority shareholder. I sat down, placed my hands on the table, and waited. At 8:59, Preston walked in. Same swagger, same expensive suit, same laptop under his arm. He saw the name placards, saw the directors, saw Howard's document stack, saw me sitting at the head of the table with a nameplate in front of me. He looked confused. Then, annoyed, "Mom, what's this about? If it's about the restructuring, I have the Phase 2 presentation ready." Eleanor didn't look at him. "Sit down, Preston. I wasn't informed about this meeting." "Sit down." He sat. Howard Campbell stood up, cleared his throat. "This emergency session has been convened pursuant to Article 7 of the Apex Steel Corporate Charter. The filing was submitted by Hayes Holdings Trust on behalf of beneficial owner Andrew Hayes." Howard picked up the top document from his stack. Hayes Holdings Trust holds 59% of Apex Steel Dynamics issued shares. This position has been documented in continuous SEC filings for 25 years. Every acquisition properly disclosed, every threshold reported on schedule. One of the directors, Sandra Keller, leaned back in her chair. Another one, Bill Harper, rubbed his forehead like he felt a headache coming. At current market valuation of $2.2 billion. Howard continued, "Mr. Hayes' stake represents approximately $1.3 billion in market value." Preston looked at his mother, then at me, then at the documents. "That's not possible," he said. "Those filings can't be accurate." "They're bulletproof," I said. First words I'd spoken since walking in. Every page filed by a former Navy JAG officer who doesn't make mistakes. Preston's face went through several shades of pale. "Mom, this is some kind of clerical error. A filing discrepancy. We can resolve this with a simple audit." And Preston, Eleanor said quietly, "Stop talking." Howard wasn't done. Additionally, the title Chief Innovation Officer under which Mr. Caldwell took his restructuring action was never ratified by board resolution. It was created by executive memo without formal vote, which means his authority to modify anyone's compensation is legally questionable. Eleanor stared at the table. Preston stared at his mother. The other directors stared at their hands. "Motion before the board," Howard said. "Reverse all restructuring actions taken by Preston Caldwell, and remove Mr. Caldwell from his position effective immediately." "Seconded," said Sandra Keller. All in favor. 9 hands went up, including Eleanor's motion carries. Unanimous. Howard looked at Preston. "Sir, your position is terminated. Security will escort you to collect personal belongings." Preston stood up slowly. His chair rolled backward and bumped the credenza. He looked at me with an expression I'd seen before on young sailors who just learned the ocean doesn't care about their plans. "You sat there," he said. "Tuesday morning, you sat right there and said you understood." I looked at him. I did understand. Better than you. Security knocked on the door. 2 guys from the main desk, professional but firm. Preston looked at his mother one more time. She was still staring at the table. He walked out. They walked behind him. The door clicked shut. The board session lasted another hour. Motion to appoint me interim CEO, unanimous. Motion to restore my original compensation plus CEO adjustment, unanimous. Motion to approve a $45 million special dividend distribution, unanimous. My 59% stake entitled me to $26.6 million of that payout. 2 weeks later, I was sitting in the CEO office, same view of the smokestacks I'd had from my house, just from a different angle. Diana's picture on the desk, Jordan's engineering degree on the wall next to my CB certificate. That afternoon, Eleanor Caldwell submitted her resignation from the board. No statement, no farewell, just a signed letter handed to Patricia Walsh. She kept her 4.8% stake, but she'd never sit at that table again. Preston's LinkedIn profile now lists him as exploring new opportunities. His automation plan to eliminate 425 jobs died with his termination. The workers don't know I own most of the company. They just know their jobs are safe and their benefits got better. My son Jordan called last Sunday, same as always. He's 25, graduated mechanical engineering from Ohio State. Works for Caterpillar now. Good kid. Better man than I probably deserve. Dad, you sound different, he said. Like you're not waiting for something bad to happen. I leaned back in my chair, looked out at the smokestacks. Maybe I'm not. You think you might make it to my company softball game next weekend? Engineering league? We're terrible, but it's fun. I'll be there, really. You're sure, really? Haven't missed much lately. Time to change that. He was quiet for a moment. Mom would have liked seeing you at my games. She would have. She always said family comes first. Work comes second. Took me too long to figure out she was right. It's not too late, Dad. Not for us. After we hung up, I sat there thinking about that conversation, about all the games I'd missed, all the dinners I'd worked through, all the moments I'd traded for stock options and overtime pay. Some of those trades paid off. Others cost more than I knew how to calculate. That evening, I drove to see Diana. She was in her room looking through a photo album we'd made together. Pictures of our wedding, Jordan as a kid, family vacations before everything changed. I know these people, she said when she saw me come in. They look happy. They were, I said. They are. She smiled and patted the bed next to her. I sat down and we looked at pictures together. She couldn't remember the stories anymore, but she could still feel them. That's something, I guess. Andrew, she said, suddenly, clear as day. Did you win? I looked at her, surprised. Win what? Whatever you've been fighting, you look different. Lighter, I took her hand. Yeah, I won. Good. You deserve to. She squeezed my fingers. Now what? Now I build something better. Something that lasts. She nodded like that made perfect sense, then went back to the photos. But her hand stayed in mine. When I got home, I poured 3 fingers of good bourbon, sat on the back deck, and watched the lights come on across the Apex compound. My lights now, my responsibility, my foundation to build on. The next morning, I walked the factory floor for the first time as CEO. Not the executive tour with handlers and prepared talking points. The real walk. Station to station, machine to machine, talking to the people who actually make the steel. Rita Thompson found me at the number 3 furnace. She'd been floor supervisor for 18 years, knew every worker by name, every machine by sound, tough woman, respected by everyone. Heard you got Preston's job, she said. Heard right. Also heard some interesting rumors about stock ownership. I looked at her. Rita was smart, always had been. What kind of rumors? The kind that explain why a floor supervisor just became CEO overnight. She smiled. Don't worry, your secret's safe. Most of these guys wouldn't know an SEC filing from a lunch menu anyway, and you, I know enough to say thank you. Preston's automation plan would have cut 400 jobs. Word is that plan's dead now. It is then, like I said, thank you. That afternoon, I called a meeting with the executive team. 5 people, all of whom had been with Apex longer than Preston had been alive. Good people who'd been pushed around by a kid with an MBA and no experience. New direction, I told them. We're going to run this company the way Dutch Vandermark intended. Quality first, workers respected, customers served right. Anyone who's been waiting for Preston's nonsense to end can stop waiting. Sarah Mitchell, VP of Sales, spoke first. What about the automation initiatives? Shelved. We're not firing experienced workers to install robots. We're training experienced workers to run better machines. The cost-cutting mandates, gone. We cut costs by working smarter, not by cutting corners or people. Tom Bradley, head of quality control, leaned forward. And the board? The board works for the shareholders. I am the shareholders. Any questions? Nobody had questions. Over the next month, I made changes, real changes. Restored the pension plan Preston had suspended, increased health benefits, started a scholarship fund for workers' kids, named it the Dutch Vandermark Memorial Fund. Jordan came to the softball game like I promised. Caterpillar engineers versus Ford engineers. Jordan was right, they were terrible. But watching him play shortstop, seeing him smile when he turned a double play, sitting in those aluminum bleachers with a hot dog and a beer, I realized something. This was what Diana meant when she said family comes first. After the game, Jordan and I grabbed dinner at a diner near the field. So he said, cutting into a burger, Mom told me you got a promotion. She did yesterday, one of her good days. She said you finally got the job you deserved. He looked at me, CEO of Apex Steel. That's a big deal, Dad. It is. How did it happen so fast? I thought about how to explain 25 years of patient planning to a 25-year-old who'd inherited his mother's directness and his father's engineering mind. Sometimes I said, the best foundation is the one nobody sees until it needs to hold weight. He nodded like he understood. Maybe he did. You thinking about coming home? I asked Apex could use a good engineer maybe someday. Right now I'm learning things at CAT I can't learn anywhere else, but knowing the door's open. That means something. We talked until the diner closed, about work, about Diana, about plans and possibilities, about the things that matter when you finally have time to notice them. That night, I sat on the deck one more time. Tomorrow, I'd be back in the office, running a $2.2 billion company, making decisions that affected 2,800 employees and their families. Big responsibility. But tonight, I was just a guy who'd finally figured out the difference between having a job and owning your work. Sometimes power doesn't announce itself with champagne toasts and press releases. It doesn't give itself fancy titles or post victory laps on social media. Sometimes it just builds quietly and steadily, foundation stone by foundation stone, until the day someone tries to tear down what you've spent decades creating. Then it doesn't just push back. It rebuilds everything, stronger than before. Preston Caldwell III told a boardroom I was just a floor supervisor. He was half right. I do know every floor in that building, every beam, every joint, every stress point. I know what holds things together and what makes them fall apart. I just also happen to own the building, and now I'm using that ownership to build something Dutch Vandermark would recognize. Something that puts workers first, quality second, and shareholders third. Something that treats experience like the asset it is instead of the liability Preston thought it was. If you've ever been underestimated because of your age, your background, or your position on the org chart, remember this. The foundation you're building today might be invisible to everyone around you. But when the time comes to prove what you're worth, that foundation will either hold or it won't. Make sure it holds. Document everything. Build deliberately. And never let anyone convince you that quiet competence is the same thing as powerlessness. Sometimes the person who looks like they have the least authority is actually the one holding all the cards.